Good evening, everybody. I'm Derek Mijo, and this is Flush in the Pocket. Sorry we're a little late, some technical difficulties, but that's okay. Joining me later on tonight, we've got PBA Hall of Famer Norm Duke, but right now we've got a great guy and a great bowler as well. He made 3 TV appearances, the 1989 doubles with Curtis Odom, the 94 Masters, and the only match that I saw him bowl was the 92 PBA National Championship bowling against Eric Forkel in the first match. Please welcome Adam Colton. Adam, how are you?
I'm good.
That
I'm
is
good.
excellent. Thank you so much for doing this. And so let's get started. Let's see. So, how did you get started bowling?
Well, my parents were avid bowlers, and they brought me to the bowling alley, let me run around when I was a little one, and I fell in love with it. I really, really loved it.
That is awesome. So, let's see. Let's get to question number 2. So, did you have a coach, or did you teach yourself? I'm kind
I
of
had
self-taught, so
I had several coaches. Actually, one of the coaches I had was a legendary bowler. Probably, I think he's in the Hall of Fame. Paul Krumsky from Chicago.
okay.
When Paul was older, he moved down to Florida and retired. And we met up at Don Carlos Lanes in Tamarack, where I grew up. And he was working with me, and he got me a lot of my basics and fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, More recently, I worked with Randy Stoughton at
Mm-hmm.
Kegel,
Mm-hmm.
and Randy was out on tour when I was out on tour,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew my game from way back when I was at my best. So I always liked going to Kegel and working with Randy because he knew what I could do and what I couldn't do, and he didn't try and change too many things. He would just fine tune me. So I really enjoyed working with Randy. I was heartbroken when I
Yeah.
heard of his passing.
I was just going to ask you how did that affect you, and that's
Yeah,
yeah,
I was very sad.
yeah.
Made me very sad.
So, do you ever feel like this is kind of off the board? Do you ever feel like everybody knows your game better than you? Because I'm kind of finding that myself. Like I got a buddy who says, "Man, I know exactly how to fix your game and this and that." I mean, you ever run into somebody like that?
I have a couple of people like that. They know my game probably better than I do. One
Yeah.
of them is Mike Nitre,
Okay.
who has coached all over the world, and he's a gold level coach, and he's local in our area. And I just worked with Mike not too long ago, and a lot of coaches. I think I have a pretty simple game. There's nothing real complicated about it. And
Yeah. I
Mike seemed
go
to
ahead. I'm sorry.
really, when I was bowling bad, Mike seemed to know exactly what I was doing wrong. I couldn't figure it out.
Mm,
I'm
wow.
videoing myself, and I can't figure it out. It looks the same to me.
Right.
So
So, what bowling accomplishment on tour did you achieve that made you say, "Okay, I'm going to try the tour and see how it goes"?
when I won my first regional, I started looking at the tour. I saw the bowlers that I was bowling against in the region. They were the same guys out on tour: Steve Wilson, Steve Hoskins, Curtis Odom, Joe Furpo, just dozens of guys. Jason Couch,
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Ward from the southern region
Mm-hmm.
went out on tour, and it's like I bowl against these guys in the region, and I hold my own. So I think I can do this.
There you go. So, what was your least? I'm sorry. What was your favorite moment on tour?
My favorite moment on tour was Friday night in the doubles with Curtis Odom. There were 5 teams. First and second was pretty far ahead, but there were 5 teams that were vying for third, fourth, and fifth, and it was very, very close. And every match that night, it just seemed like it came down to the 10th frame. And Curtis had me bowling anchor.
Wow.
And he was this tour veteran. He had me bowling anchor. That's how much confidence he had in me. And I struck out all night long. I struck out in the 10th to win matches. And the intensity was unbelievable.
I bet. I mean, when somebody believes in you, man, they believe in you, you know, and
Yeah.
if somebody said, Adam, you're going to be great on tour, if somebody said, you'd say thank you, but if somebody's like, don't even try it, don't even bother, that kind of cuts you down a little bit and gives you self-doubt, and there's no room in bowling for self-doubt.
No, no. I've been pretty fortunate. I've never had anybody do that to me.
That is excellent. What was your least favorite moment on tour?
Another Friday night, I'm bowling in match play. I'm in the top five in Merritt Island,
Mm-hmm.
and we're warming up for practice. And I'm bowling Brian Voss my first match, and we're throwing our practice balls, and all of a sudden, I trip for absolutely no reason. I just trip over my own 2 feet and go flying down the lane face first. And the whole bowling center stopped practice to watch me pick myself up, wipe the oil off me.
Oh man.
I came back and I was so shaken up that I knocked myself out of the top five. I just had trouble the whole night feeling comfortable.
What did I mean, did you get hurt? Did people come to your aid, or were they just watching you?
No, everybody was shocked.
Oh my
Nobody
gosh.
came. I got up and I slid out to the arrows. And there was so much oil in the lanes that I couldn't stop sliding. I
Oh
had to
no.
like turn my body so I could slide into the gutter and stop sliding. So I got up and I walked back, and everybody's just watching in shock.
Yeah.
And I wiped myself. Brian Voss looks at me and says, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I says, "Yeah." And he says, "Did you stick?" I said, "No, I just tripped." And he started laughing.
Yeah. Brian's a good guy, and I'm glad that he was able. I mean, Brian, of course, would care about your well-being. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, like I said, when I saw you in '92, I mean, you just seem like the nicest guy. So that really doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
So when did you leave the tour, and what made you decide it was time to leave?
I left the tour in the mid to late 90s. Actually, it was the year that they went to an exempt tour.
Oh, okay.
They basically decided, and I actually heard this verbatim, they are tired of the part timers coming out and taking their money. They said there wouldn't be a tour if it wasn't for the full timers, and we want the exempt tour. And they went ahead with an exempt tour. So you couldn't rabbit, you couldn't qualify. They basically said, we don't want you part timers anymore. So I basically said, okay, if that's the way it is, I'll drop my card and I'll start bowling high rollers
Mm-hmm.
and megabucks.
Yeah.
And that's when I ended up winning the International Eliminator in 2001 for $100,000 out in Samstown.
That's incredible. Well, I want to let you know. I mean, I don't know how many people you think know your name, but I've like I said, I've known your name for ever since I saw that match, and you know, you're bigger than the world to me because I got to watch you, and when I went to my first tournament in '99. I never thought I would ever meet a pro, and I consider them heroes because, it's like, hey, Adam Colton's not real. He's a character on a TV show. I'm never going to get a chance to meet or talk to him. And then here we are doing this podcast how many years later? So you meant a lot to me. Just wanted to let you know that.
No, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
A lot of the guys, the pro bowlers, they're very accessible and they're normal people, and they'll talk to you, and not like other sports.
Oh, absolutely not. I was actually just talking to a buddy of mine about that. No, I'm good friends with some pros today, and if you were to tell me 20 years ago that that's going to happen someday, I'd be like, yeah, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah.
So they went to the exempt tour in 0304, but you left early before that.
I thought they went to the exempt tour back in the late 90s, 90.
No, you know what? I mean,
am I wrong about that?
Huh?
Am I wrong about that?
So I guess Del Ballard was a proponent of them going to an exempt field in the 90s. I remember in 0304, he was one of the guys struggling to make the field because it was the 0304 season was the the season where everybody you win, you're exempt, or if you don't win and you're in the top 50, you're exempt. But yeah, I mean that was not to correct you or anything. Um, I mean that was that. I remember that exactly because I mean the first four bowlers that were exempt were Robert Smith, Norm Duke, Brian Himmler, and Jason Couch. Yeah. So, but hey, I'm glad that you were able to win that that Megabuck tournament in 2001. I mean that's
Yeah, I'm trying to
incredible.
remember why did I drop my card then? I know I
Yeah.
dropped my card because I sold my pro shop also,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and I went into the medical billing field with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I did lose some interest in bowling, but I don't really remember for sure why I dropped my card. Because I thought it was because of the exempt situation.
Yeah. Huh?
I thought it was.
Yeah. So when you shot 155 in Toledo, I know that the scoring was low for that whole tournament. I mean, let's see. I think I don't know. Maybe Eric. Maybe the second match was the highest match. I don't even know if anybody ever broke 230. Actually, I don't think they did because Eric, it was 201 to 155 over you, and then he shoots 202 to 200 over Ryan Schaefer. Bob Vespi, I know, shoots 133 in the how brutal was that 155 when they're already tough enough as it is?
Well, it was extremely frustrating because let me tell you what happens, and this is the God's honest truth.
Yep.
We're practicing for the show. They're just like they were all week long. Everybody's got the same shot they had all week, so everybody had a good shot to the pocket. And the lane men come out and they take all the lights down the lane and they turn them so they're facing the lane. Now the heat from those lights started baking the lane while we're throwing practice balls. And in a matter of 5 minutes of practice balls, the shot got so messed up that they became pretty much unplayable.
Oh my gosh.
And then they came out and they fixed the lights. That was intentional because they didn't want Bob Vespi to win.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Huh.
That is a true story. They
No,
did
I
not
believe.
want
Listen,
Bob to win.
Mm-hmm.
He was arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm friends with Bob too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the time he was arrogant and cocky, and the lanemen didn't like him, and they didn't want him to win.
Oh,
So in the meantime, every right-hander on the show got run over.
I think I believe that story like I believe your name. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Why would you? How could you can't make that up?
Yeah. I can't remember if it was Brian Goebel or Ryan Schaefer on the show. One shot, missed the head pin left.
I want to say it was Goebel. I remember.
I think it was.
Yeah, because I think Ryan. God, I know Ryan 210.
Yeah.
Now
Ryan's phenomenal when they get ugly.
Oh, Ryan is.
So I could see him. I could see him bowling 200 on that.
Yep.
He's that good. The tougher they get, the better he gets.
Yeah, absolutely. So what?
So the left side didn't get screwed up because there was only one lefty.
Right.
And there were four righties.
Wow.
Practicing when they did this.
So I just want to preface this by saying, if Bob watches this, I did contact Bob to try to be on this show. If he is ever interested, it's just, I don't think it's anything that you hold a grudge or any. I mean, that was what 31 years ago. I mean, that's come and gone, and I mean, a lot of things. People get older. I mean, I don't know how. I'm assuming he's changed a lot since then. But I mean,
yes.
That was yeah. So,
but if you got Bob on, he'll probably confirm the story exactly.
Can I ask him?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
I
They did it to
really
him
appreciate.
twice. They did it to him in the showboat too.
Okay. Wow.
He led the showboat one time and shot 130 or 150. They were
Wow.
nothing like they played all week. Nothing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of want to hear stuff like this because when I first started this podcast, I was gonna talk about controversial topics in bowling, and then I interviewed Parker, and I was like, that is that's how I need to do this podcast. I need to find anybody that'll let me interview them. And because I mean, I know you don't know much about me, but I'm a PBA super fan. I get a memory like I don't know why, but my memory is brutally good.
Yeah.
But and after I did that, I was like, I should try to reach out to all these pros. So I've talked to Tim Chris, I've talked to Steve Jaros, I got Don Mosier Saturday night. So I
Nice.
mean, this is great, and I appreciate everybody doing this. What made you want to be a pro bowler?
Well, I loved bowling. I really enjoyed it. I'm competitive in everything I do, and I just happened to become good at it. I was kind of a natural. I never really practiced a whole. Some guys have to practice every day. They have to bowl 100 games a week.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, my game just came natural to me. I didn't really work on my physical game. It was just all natural.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. What's your bowling pet peeve?
People who stand on the approach for 30 seconds. Drives me crazy. I want to push them from behind. Say, go.
So what are they doing? Standing on the approach, just waiting for a ball, or just like?
No, they pick up their ball off the ball return. They put their hand in it. They stand. They look where they're standing, and then they stand there and they stare at their target. And I guess they're going through a mental checklist or something. But they're standing there for 20, 25, 30 seconds. And you can't. What can you think about that long? And that drives me crazy.
So I don't know if you saw Pete Weber when he shot his 299 in 2001.
Actually, I've seen it on video. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when he did that, he was talking about how when he does his routine, he's actually watching himself do his routine, and then he gets on the approach and he goes.
Yeah.
I mean, what sort of think about? I probably need to shut my brain off a little bit, but that's.
Well, Pete is another one who has just ridiculous natural talent.
Yep.
He was just born with it.
Yep.
So I don't think Pete needs to get up on the approach and do a whole heck of a lot of thinking.
No.
It's like, am I standing in the right spot? Am I looking at the right spot? Let's go.
Absolutely. And you know what? And not to talk about somebody else while I have you on, but when you talk to a pro and say, "Oh, I don't like them," it's kind of like you don't like them because what you see in an hour and a half. Have you ever try having the guys off the lanes? You ever try talking to him off the lanes? A lot of people say he's nice. Some people say he's a jerk, but I don't know, man. I think it has to do with when do you approach these guys? And I'm sure if I went to you and said, after you shot the 155, I know it's not my fault you shot the 155, but you probably need a minute or two to cool off and be like, oh man, this was embarrassing. And the story that you told me, it probably isn't the greatest story for you. But it's just one of those things. You gotta meet the bowlers where they are. And they're human beings. You guys put on human beings as well.
They're doing this for a living.
Yeah.
And sometimes they need some time to decompress when they're done.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. What's your favorite thing about the sport of bowling? 'Cause I know you still bowl, but what's your favorite thing about it?
I have many, many, many friends that I've known for 40 years. And I don't know of anything else in the world that I could have done that would give me the friendships for the length of time and the volume of friends that I have with if I wasn't bowling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a really good community of people.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, guys, don't let him fool you. He's only 25. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, that's excellent. Do you follow the tour today? And what are your thoughts about it?
I don't really follow it. If I happen to flip channels
Mm-hmm.
and I see bowling, then I'll watch it. The kids today are playing a different game than I played, or than my compadres played. It's, it's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time relating to it, but that's why I bowl senior stuff now. I'm bowling against all the guys who throw it like I do.
Oh, you're on the PBA 50 tour.
Yes. Although I haven't bowled too much, I'm going to start bowling. I'm retiring in a couple of months, and I'm going to start bowling some more stops.
Mm-hmm.
I've only
Wow.
bowled a couple so far.
So, do you know? I'm assuming you know about the bowling ball controversies with the Masters and like all these balls that are being illegal and stuff like that. I mean, do you have any opinions on those or?
From what I understand, and I do talk to a lot of people in the industry, from what I
Mm-hmm.
understand, the problem was the polish that
Okay.
Storm was using on the balls, is what I heard. And they banned the balls. And I actually have an Altered Reality, which is one of my favorite balls,
Mm-hmm.
that when I go out to nationals, I can't bring with me. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Let's
So the
let's.
companies, changed the way they're doing some things in the factory.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that when you have a reactive cover stock and a 5-pound weight block in the ball, at that point in time, the balls are bombs.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference if it's 73 hardness or 74 hardness,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's 3 ounces of side weight or 3.25 ounces of side weight or 2 ounces of side weight?
Mm-hmm.
The balls are just the the surfaces are too strong. The weight blocks are too strong. I'd like to see them rein in the equipment.
So, did resin hurt you when that started evolving?
Resin did not help me out on tour, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I did most of my really, really good bowling out on tour with urethane.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I did some good bowling with resin.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of my amateur bowling with resin, and I did extremely well the several years I bowled the megabucks and stuff. And I bowl, of course, now this really, I never got back into the urethane trend.
Mm-hmm.
I still throw reactive resin.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys have a urethane ball in their bag. I just don't see me ever doing that.
So you don't have the blue hammer that you bowled in Toledo with?
No,
Oh
no.
wow. Okay. Wow. Let's see. So if you could do your entire bowling career over again, what would you do different?
I would probably bowl more than
Mm-hmm.
I did. I was always, and it's because I had the pro shop, and the pro shop was very busy, but I was always a part timer. I would bowl between 3 and 6 stops a year on tour. I'd shoot out for 3, come home for a while, and shoot out for another 3 and come home. There was one year I bowled 11 tournaments on tour out of 30. I forget how many there were that year. 11 out of
Mm-hmm.
30. And I got enough points to be exempt. I was exempt the following year, only bowling 11 tournaments.
Mm. Okay.
So looking back, I wish I had bowled more. I know I would have some titles.
Oh, I believe it. Because I mean, when you were bowling in Toledo, I mean, you're a down. I mean, maybe that was just that week, but you strike me as a down and inner,
Hmm.
and just no. I mean, I'm sure you can hook it, but is your A game straight up the boards, or do you like to go around it?
Definitely straight up the boards. I really can't hook it very much. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't. I just don't rotate it
Sure.
enough. So my A game was definitely down the boards, and that game got to play a lot
Mm-hmm.
when I was the years I was bowling tour. So if
Yeah.
I was out there full time, I would have had a lot of opportunities to snatch a win.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's awesome. How many 300s or 800s do you have?
I never really counted my 300s. One time I tried to figure it out. I know I have over 100, uh, but I never really counted. I've been bowling competitively for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
There were some years that I bowled 6 and 7. There were other years where I bowled 2 or 3. So I got to
Mm-hmm.
have over 100. The only ones I really care about are my PBA 300s. I have 13 of those.
That's wow. That is, I am honored and privileged in my life to be able to do this, and like I've said, to have the chance to talk to you guys. I mean, this is beyond. The guy that we got coming up later, Norm Duke, when he was Randy Peterson did a
Right.
Miller 6-pack with him, and he said something about what Jim Stefanage did for me on Saturdays that he'll never know about, and like what you guys do for your fans, even doing this, that you'll never know about for me. I mean, this is beyond priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Um, so, do you remember your first 800?
I don't remember my first 800, but I definitely remember my first 300.
Mm-hmm.
It was a regional tournament, and I got up on my first shot, and I went Greek church.
Yep.
And I come back, and someone who I'm crossing with, who I was friends with, Ryan Boyd,
Mm-hmm.
looks at me and says, "You bowled on the wrong lane, idiot."
No, no.
So back then, if you bowled on the wrong lane, you got the shot over.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the shot over and shot 300.
Wow.
And that was my first PBA 300.
Wow.
That's
Amazing.
funny.
Yeah. So you just, I jumped, and so your first 300, your first 800. So now we're going to do a thing, just a little bit of fun. A lot of these podcasts, they do 10 frames, 10 questions, but this is
Yeah.
flush in the pocket. Easiest 300 you're ever going to bowl. You just need your voice. Just 12 random questions. This is going to be a lot of fun. So favorite line from a movie.
I love the movie Rounders,
Okay.
and my favorite line is, "It will all be over soon,"
All right.
when John Malkovich says that.
Excellent. Favorite music.
I actually like the older school rap.
Okay. So like Crisscross, Run DMC.
Yeah, but Bust a Move.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of? Do you like Jelly Roll at all? He's kind of new, but what do you think of what he does?
I'm not really familiar with him.
Okay. All right. Um, do you go to concerts?
No, not often.
Not often. All right. Favorite time of day.
I love sleeping.
Yes.
So my favorite time of day is nighttime.
That's awesome. I'm one of those weird people that I will go to bed, watch TV for I'll go to bed at 10, watch TV until 1, and then go to sleep.
Yeah,
or
I do the same thing. I love watching TV in bed.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, best advice ever given.
When I was 15 years old, I went to Don Carter's bowling alley,
Mhm.
and I applied for a job as a concourse kid.
Mhm.
You know, get the dead wood, empty the ashtrays,
Sure.
and they hired me. And I was so excited that I wanted to, and also you got to bowl for 50 cents a game.
Oh,
So I got a lane and I went out and I bowled a couple of games, and Don Carter was sitting at the bar watching me bowl.
Mhm.
And when I bowled my 2 games, I came back up to the desk and he walked over to me and he said, "Son, don't ever change your game."
And what was that? I mean, you had to
I was speechless.
I could die now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely speechless.
Oh my
I
gosh.
came home, I told my dad, "Don Carter told me don't ever change my game."
Yeah. So, real quick story I'll give you. I'm a big Brunswick guy,
Hmm.
and so I went to these Brunswick mini camps, and so the second one that I went to, after everything's all done, the guys will step on the approach. You had like Parker there, you had Petraglia and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and um, so Johnny's making his final speech, and then he stops mid sentence and says, "Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Derek," and he says, "I'm really proud of you. You improved from last year, and nice job." And I'm the kind of bowler that I have cerebral palsy, so I take one step and throw the ball, and I'm also visually impaired. And I can throw a ball like 17 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, something like that. A lot of people are like, I am shocked that you can do what you do.
Yeah.
So for him to say that to me, that was definitely like a 2x4 hitting me between the eyes in a good way, of course.
Yep.
Uh, um,
Yeah. Petraglia and Parker are great guys.
oh, Parker's my best friend. You should check out that interview. I think you would like that a lot. That was amazing. Um, all time favorite bowling ball that you've ever thrown.
This is going to be a weird one. The Lane One buzzsaw.
Okay.
I
Well,
bowled so well with that ball for so long.
excellent. So was that when? So lane one's been gone for a number of years.
Yeah.
Um, are they anything now? Because I know that I've heard that Mo Rich is now or was or is now Radical or Motive or whatever.
Yeah.
Did lane one? Did they do any? Who has their cores now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I am not. I don't think they have an active brand anymore. I don't
Hmm.
recall seeing anything come out in a long, long time.
So was the Buzzsaw a urethane?
It was a reactive ball, one of the early reactives. The
Okay.
weight block was shaped like a diamond,
Hmm.
and it was the most predictable bowling ball I've ever owned in my life.
Yeah, that's that's awesome. Favorite
Yeah,
food?
I love Italian food.
Uh huh. Yep.
Yep.
Uh, Pizza guy, I'm assuming.
Pizza, spaghetti, meatballs, chicken parm.
So you're probably gonna you're probably gonna hang up on me as quickly as possible when I ask you this, but does pineapple belong on pizza?
Oh no,
No.
no, no, no.
Okay, well, I want to let you know I'm a really nice guy. Aside from that fact, but hey, no, that's cool. I will fight that debate forever. But it's awesome. Um, what are you so? What are you binge watching right now?
Well, believe we just got over like a month ago. We got over Yellowstone.
Okay.
We caught up on Yellowstone. Then we binge watched Ozark,
Mm-hmm.
which was excellent, and we just got caught up with a show called Your Honor.
That's
Your
excellent.
Honor, Your Honor is about a judge whose son gets in a car accident and kills a mob boss's son,
Ooh,
and
all right.
everything the judge has to do to save him, and it was really good.
Yeah, that is awesome. I am a true crime fan. Um, love. I could watch that all day if I had to choose between that and sports. I would flip a coin, whatever came up. But
Yeah.
Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, definitely Pepsi.
Okay,
Although I do drink whatever the restaurant has,
sure.
but if I have
So
my
if
choice,
if you go to a place that has Coke, are you drinking regular Coke or are you drinking like Sprite or something like that?
no, regular Coke.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Favorite vacation spot?
Vegas.
No. Yeah, but you're working.
Nah, love Vegas.
Really?
Love everything about. I love to gamble. I love the shows. I used to love the food. Now a lot of the buffets. Things are different after COVID.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
I can only imagine.
before COVID, it was definitely Vegas.
So when you go to Vegas, do you stay at one of the bowling alley resorts or do you?
We usually stay at the Bellagio.
Okay.
My wife and I do enough gambling that we get comped.
Mhm.
all the time from them, and it's
Yep.
really, really nice hotel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you could have dinner with three people, living or dead, not trying to put it harsh,
Yeah.
living or past, who would they be?
The first person would be my father, who passed away several years ago,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he was just, he was a hell of a man. He loved me to death. He loved my bowling. He was so excited for my bowling. He actually flew out to Toledo to watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I miss him very much.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
because I think Jordan is the greatest athlete ever, and I love his competitiveness.
Yeah.
And the third one probably would be Pete Rose, because I used to love watching Pete Rose
Mm-hmm.
play baseball. He was my
Mm-hmm.
favorite baseball player.
Do you think he should be put in the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay.
What
All
he
right.
did, what he did after he stopped playing has nothing to do with the credentials that he earned playing the game. Put an asterisk if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Put do whatever you want to do to make the deniers happy. But when he was playing the game, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean everybody's got an opinion, and
Yep.
you're definitely allowed to feel that way, and I totally understand that. That
Yeah.
would be like, oh, I don't know, we'll take the nicest guy in the world or one of the nicest guys. That's be like if Parker did something after his career that, oh, what the heck, why did he do that? But it,
Yeah.
judging
Not
him
let him in
as,
the Hall of Fame.
yeah, I mean that's
One
crazy,
has nothing to do with the other for me.
right? Um, so if Make a Wish called you, um, and said, uh, because I mean, I'm not trying to make light. And by the way, I'm really sorry for the loss of your father. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that.
Oh, thank you. That was a long, long time ago.
Sure.
But yeah,
So if
I
Make
miss
a
him.
Wish called you and said, Adam, I'll give you any wish that you want, what would it be?
I think for my family, just to be happy and healthy.
Excellent. That that's excellent. That's really cool. Um, you know, we've been talking with Adam Colton, and buddy, listen, you got a new friend for life. I've had nothing but a good time chatting with you. Thank you for doing this, and um, continued success. Now, what are you bowling right now? Are you? I mean, obviously not right now, but are you? What's your next big thing coming up?
I'm bowling nationals in June
Okay.
with a really fun team. I think they're good enough. I think we're good enough to make some money, but
Good.
I know we're going to have fun. And I'm going to bowl some of the senior stops later on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the ones that come to Florida, but just mostly local. We have a lot of very cool local tournaments. We have Baker Team, and we have
Mm-hmm.
over under doubles, and we have a lot of fun tournaments to bowl down south.
Wow. That is excellent. And like I said, man, thank you so much for your time. Check out the next episode that's coming up at 10 o'clock. PBA Hall of Famer Norm Duke. I mean, I know you know who he is. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
does.
Yep.
And that was I was shocked that I got a yes out of him. But thank you so much. And this was Flush in the Pocket with Adam Colton. Adam, have a great night, my friend, buddy.
Thank you, Derek. Thanks for asking me. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. You too. Have a good night.
Okay, bye.
All right. That was Adam Colton. What a great guy. I didn't realize I mean, of course, if a bowler tells you that, then you gotta believe that. I mean, I mean, it's crazy. Adam Colton, ladies and gentlemen, a guy that I'm going to know forever now. So thank you guys for watching Flush in the Pocket. Um, I hope you have a good night. Actually, have a good hour, because coming up at 10 o'clock, we have PBA Hall of Famer, 40-time titleist. Do I need to say anymore. 7 majors and whatnot. Whatnot. This guy's had a career. Norm Duke coming up tonight. And I apologize for the notifications on my phone. I really apologize for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in an hour.